Hi, my name is Colby. Welcome to Hold My Briefcase, where I give you insights and inside information and education so that you can handle everyday legal issues or be equipped to be able to do anything that you might need. Today's issue or today's topic is about construction defect. So I do a lot of construction defect, which is considered commercial litigation. And it's considered commercial litigation because it involves a transaction, right? When you build a house or you build a building, one is residential construction, the other is commercial construction. But in either way, there's usually a couple ways that you can get the building built, and one is design and build, right? So first you go and pay an architect who will work with you to make plans, specifications. All that gets wrapped up into a document, right? And these documents are handed to the general contractor. The general contractor, or the GC, then, because you're sending it out for a bid, you're sending it to actually multiple general contractors, the general contractors will return bids to you, right? So this is the scope of work you want performed, and this is how much money you're going to have to pay to perform it. And so each of the contractors submits a bid, and then you, along with your architect maybe, select the person or the company that's going to build your building, right? And so then the architect and the builder, the general contractor, work together to build that. There may be what's called change orders, where the original plans get changed, and that might affect the price, right? And so this is the process for building a building, is between these professionals and between the trades. Eventually the building gets built. Now, whether that be a residential or a commercial building, you are going to take possession of the building, right? And usually there's some money, that needs to be released when the building's complete. And one of the prerequisites is that you go through a punch list. Punch list, kind of weird name for it, but all it is what we have to fix before the job is done. And it's really important that you go through and have maybe even a professional go through and do a punch list for you, because this is your opportunity to hold their feet to the fire. You're not going to release it till they fix everything to your satisfaction. Once you take possession of the building, what happens if you find out something's wrong? Right? There are these things, they're called latent defects, right? Latent defects, right? Which is basically means you can't see them, right? And it's unfortunate because, when you're dealing with construction, home construction, any kind of construction, the word facade comes from construction, right? Where you have a facade, but everything else behind it's not the same, right? So you can have a house with a brick facade, just face of bricks, but 2 inches behind it is a gap, and another 2 inches behind that is some plastic, and then the wood. It's not a brick house, it's a wooden house with a brick facade, right? And you can't see into the wood. You can't see the boards, right? Because it's on these walls. So it's very important, right, that you are on the lookout for defects. You don't want to be left holding the bag on a building that is defective, right? If you've built a building, you're in a building that's been built in the last 2 years, why not have a professional come in and inspect it? If you're in a building that has a room that's very hot and a room that's very cold, that's a defect. They're supposed to tab or test and balance all your filters, right? All your intakes, all your outtakes. Why? Because that's what the contract calls for, right? In order to have a habitable home, in order to have comfort, right, means temperature and humidity. So what happens if they put too big of an air conditioner in? It's a breach of contract. It's a defect. Even though they'll try to tell you, oh, well, it's actually bigger. No, it's bigger so it runs less. Because it runs less, it doesn't take out as much humidity. Doesn't work. Don't let them lie to you, because that's what they'll do. Time and time and time again, I see these construction people try to bamboozle my clients. Oh, well, we just got to put the flashing, and they try to start using all these technical words, the popperette, and, But even a child, when you're told really what's going on, oh, well, they didn't put the waterproofing on your windows, can see there's no way to talk out of it. Even though they try, even though they will try to blame other people. You'll see this a lot with General Contractor, who'll point the finger at the subcontractor. The subcontractor will point his finger or her finger at another subcontractor until everybody points the finger at everybody. It's just a big circle. Ultimately, nobody's at fault. I've had defense counsel tell me that. Hey, guys, there are rats coming into this building. Well, it wasn't our fault, wasn't our fault, wasn't our fault, wasn't our fault. So, guys, if it's nobody's fault, are you saying, this was an act of God, that God came in and took hold of your builders that you're paying money, that were working under your discretion, and told them to leave that big hole in the side of that building, to not use waterproofing? No. And it's absurd that they think that they can do that. We've all dealt with delays. If you've ever built a house, you've ever had an upgrade of a house, delays are the name of the game, right?